Buenos dias. Well, I received a question a while back, I see now, about apathy. Apathy is when you simply don't care. Something doesn't affect you emotionally at all. Now, about pathological empathy, it has to do with fear. Why? I'm going to explain very briefly here. If you want deep details, go to a neurologist or someone who is a doctorate in psychology, because he has maybe better worldly terms in which he can explain it. I am going to explain it from a spiritual perspective, and I'm going to keep it brief so that you will understand what it is. When an individual operates in fear, they can't think straight, because the biological, neurological effect of fear is that your prefrontal cortex kind of shuts down. It remains operative, but it's kind of cut off. It doesn't work properly. Why? Because let's say you're walking down the streets and suddenly a bear or a lion appears. Your brain recognizes danger, so it shuts down all the other activities of the body. That's a freeze response, and at the same time it releases a lot of adrenaline in order to prepare you to fight the danger or to flee. That's a fight or flight response. So there is no time for your brain to process things analytically and in depth. So your prefrontal cortex is, I would say, shut down then. So you can't think straight. The only thing that will go through you is relief from the danger. So people that operate in fear, they can't think straight. People that operate in fear, they do very weird stuff. Parents who operate in fear, they mismanage their children. They beat they beat the children, they molest their children, they harm the children in the long term, where they do it directly, physically, or indirectly, emotionally, or socially. It's because they're fear-based. They want the relief that respect gives onto them, and because they're so attached to that relief, they become frightened when something happens that even appears to threaten that relief that they call respect. And that's where most people learn how to think in a fearful manner. Well, the fallen mind is a mind that's powered by fear anyway. But that does not mean that any unbeliever out there just fears all the time. No. Most of the fears that people develop during their lifetimes have their origin in their childhood by the ones that trained them, by the ones that raised them. But often people don't evaluate their parents or their relatives or the environment they grew up in. They take things for granted. Don't do that. Apathy is when the mind shuts down. And this has a consequence that the brain shuts down also concerning a subject. For example, if someone has been transparent towards their relatives and those around them, and the relatives took advantage of it, the shock that their own people could do these things onto them is too much for them, so the mind shuts down and the brain follows. That's the mind-body connection. So as a consequence, someone becomes emotionally numb, so they won't feel any pain very quickly, and this causes them to be hard, and they may even become mean in their attitude or cold-hearted. Why? Because emotionally they don't operate properly. They don't operate properly because they can't function emotionally in the right manner. That is what fear does. And this, in later life, will affect how they relate to other people. It will affect their marriage because it will cause sexual dysfunction. And if they have children, whoa, it goes wrong. So apathy is a dysfunction. The opposite of apathy is when you are overwhelmed by emotions, and if an emotions take a hold of you. But where is emotions taken hold of you, enslaving you, or whether it's numbness that has taken over you, is the same thing. It's dysfunction, and it gives room to evil spirits to rule over you. So, what to do with apathy? You need emotional healing. You need to process whatever it is that you want to avoid. You ought to face it, but not face it in your own strength. No, I agree with Christ so that you will have the supernatural assistance of the Holy Spirit, and then you confront it. Because if you go and confront it by your own strength, you will be overwhelmed, and that will go wrong. Or you may find some worldly strategy that will give you short-term benefits as relief. But I hope that you want deliverance and not just relief. Okay, so for those that seek deliverance, agree with Christ, so that you'll have the supernatural empowerment of the Holy Spirit, and then you confront whatever it is, and that thing, whatever trauma, whatever it is that's haunting you or keeping hold on you, it will dissolve. However, afterwards, the healing process begins, and you will have to get used to feeling again. And that can be quite painful and quite messy. Alright? If you've been numb for a while, and you begin to feel properly again, it will be frightening. But don't bother with that. It ought to happen. When your mind and your body are detoxing from negative energies, from negative emotions, because emotion is energy in motion, when your body detoxes, it's painful because you're experiencing all that waste energy that's leaving your body, that's leaving you. That's a good sign. Don't fight it. Don't take drugs or take alcohol to numb that down, because it will hinder your healing process. Well, that's it for now. Agree with Christ. Be at peace. Shalom.